Landon Tice with a pair of sevens, Reichard with kings. This one decision is worth almost $300,000.
Calling.
Hi, I'm Landon Tice. I'm 25 years old and I've been a professional poker player for the last 4 years. Yeah, so I'm a triplet. I have two brothers my age and a younger sister, and it was tough in a way when we were growing up because it's hard to be an individual. Like, we were always like the Tice boys, not really Landon, Dalton, or Griffin.
Raising 3 boys and then a little girl. It was like 4 children under 2. I think being triplets, they work to find ways to stand out. But when Landon was a baby, 16, 17 months old, he was starting to read. And the next thing we knew, when he became 4 years old, he got into chess and he started to excel very, very rapidly at a very young age, that he kind of took his own path.
I played a lot of strategy games as a kid and then got into some athletics like football, basketball, golf here and there, and then always kind of had that competitive drive. My dad taught me to play poker at an early age, but I didn't start taking it seriously until I went to college. So went to a friend's house, ended up playing a one table sit and go, and ended up winning it for a couple $100. I feel like something just clicked for me that night at the poker table, and this little light bulb lit up in my head. And from there I thought, if you make smart decisions and if you can put in a bunch of time, maybe I can make some money playing poker. So from there I just started playing online.
I said, there's no way. He was in college and he went to private school, and you do what your parents and my parents, you go to college, you graduate and you get a job. And about a year into college, he says, I'm coming home. I said, yeah, no, you're not. He says, no, I am. I'm going to play poker. I'm good at this. I said, you're going to get your kneecaps cracked. I said, are you crazy?
I started with micro stakes, like 2 cent, 4 cent, and then started playing 2-5 online, 5-10 online around the pandemic.
I said, and you have to start paying rent. If you're going to leave school to do this, you're going to pay rent. And about 3 weeks home, he walks up to me and he hands me like $4,000 and he goes, don't bother me for 6 months. And I went, wait, what? How did you do this?
I watched him, sit at college. He was at FSU and he was miserable. He felt like just because that's the path everybody takes doesn't mean that's the path that he had to take. And so he just left it all behind. And I think that in and of itself is a step of faith, that he just came back home, went all in with poker. That's what he wanted, what he saw for himself. And I just look at that and I'm encouraged and inspired by that, and just so proud of him to see him go from being somewhere he was miserable to somewhere where he's thriving and doing exactly what he feels he's meant to be doing with his life right now.
2022 is kind of when I started to come out to Vegas. When WSOP had their first online bracelet series, that's when I came out and started playing tournaments. I really thought tournaments were like the dumbest format of poker ever created. And then I won one. And then I realized why people like tournaments so much. And that's kind of when I stuck to tournaments mostly.
And that's when he met Joey and then Matt, and a few months later I flew out here. Like, who are these people in your life? Like are they like good people? As a mom,
Landon initially, I guess, came in my purview as somebody that was just a part of our podcast chat.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to...
Do we look at the cameras in this scenario?
No.
Okay.
Never.
Oh, this is perfect. I love this. Okay.
Just you and me, buddy.
I would watch his podcast a ton while multi-tabling online, and I saw for some of them that there would be timestamps. So someone would go through, watch, and say, okay, 5 minutes, they talk about this, 12 minutes, they talk about this. And from there, he kind of knew me as like the timestamp kid, and like everyone kind of knew me as the timestamp kid, because he would just pin the message and be like, oh, the timestamp kid is back and has all of them before I even asked for them to be done.
Didn't really know him from Adam at that point, but showed a real passion for the game and seemed to have a deep understanding of how things work, at least at a fundamental level, and ended up crashing on the couch. He just never left. It was supposed to be like a week-long thing. And a few months later, it was just like, hey, I got spare room in my house. If you don't want to crash on the couch any longer, you're welcome to stay.
It's been a great team of guys. They've been supportive of him. He was kind of sheltered back home, and they really didn't push him too hard, and it was a really good experience. And I felt safe knowing he was with them. If this is the path he was going to take, he landed it with a pretty safe place to fall.
I got super lucky that I didn't just like find what I love to do, but found people who also love to do what I do and have that sense of community.
This wasn't just me. This was myself, Shulman, Chewy. I think all of us put a heightened importance on like, look, you're very good, and there are plenty of games to beat.
Looking back at how much time I spent just playing, it was like wake up, play poker online, go back to bed, sleep, do it all over again for the better part of a couple years. It was a lot in the sense of I definitely thought I was better at poker than I actually was. And then the Perkins stuff definitely deflated, but it was kind of a necessary deflation, if you will.
How did you come up with the decision to light the Twitter world on fire and challenge my man Perkins to a heads-up battle for, as you put it, souls?
I felt like the Perkins challenge was like a bit of a reach for validation, right? Like, I'm better than him, people will back me for this, and everybody will celebrate me whenever I win 7 figures.
And Bill takes it down. Landon, I don't know what the hell's going on that end. Landon made a massive overbet there out of position.
It seemed like Landon, you just wanted to like everything that came with the challenge without actually understanding what he needed to do to win a challenge and then executing that.
So before we conclude here, do you have any positive things to say about Landon? Things that you thought that he did that were good, or any maybe words of wisdom, some nice things to say here to close out?
Not particularly.
I just sort of thought, like, this guy's just not going to put in work, and I am. And I'm going to beat the guy. I should have done more. I should have put in more time studying and figuring things out on my own. And that is what it is, you know? We're all human. I've just made mistakes, and I dropped the ball in this one, and I let myself down.
And then when that went south, it was kind of just like, okay, well, the alternative is that I'm just going to have to like really bite the bullet here and then slowly work my way up the ladder because the fast track didn't work.
Yeah, it feels like now I'm at a point where the wanting to be known in the industry for being good at poker, but you don't get to be known in the industry for being good at poker by saying you are. It kind of has to come through getting certain wins of different sorts. At the end of the day, like the big 6-figure scores and stuff like that is kind of what defines you as someone in the space. And now I'm just super hungry for results, not for anyone else, but for myself.
There is no plan B. Like, he just sees poker as his end-all be-all when it comes to like his career path. And shocker, he starts to put in a little bit of volume and suddenly he finds himself at a massive final table.
It's definitely one of those things that hasn't really set in until it's going to set in, because when you look at poker tournaments, it's just another tournament. You don't really realize the weight certain ones have over others, but then kind of that added layer of knowing that my family is flying in to be here to watch and just want to be a part of it and support me is something that I really don't take for granted and I'm really thankful for, just because I know that at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, like they're wishing the best for me.
I mean, going back to our college days and like playing in a dorm room to now seeing him being videotaped and broadcast, like it's your dream for him. At the end of the day, I always knew he'd be successful in what he does. And when I saw him eventually drop out of college to go play poker full time, there was a lot of people kind of being skeptical about it, including some family members at first. But he proved himself and made those connections with mentors that he really was serious and tried to learn from it. And after he moved out to Vegas, now here, sweating this with him is just insane. I just wish him the best of luck, and I know he's gonna kill it. At least second place, but I believe he got first.
It's nerve-wracking. It really is, but it's like, it's crazy money. It's like for a game, people work their whole life and never get to that. And watching him up there, the fact that he even made top 6 is like, it's like mind blowing. It's like there's so many people to beat out to get to that spot that now it's just a matter of wherever he falls. It's like even when he was little in chess, we're just proud of him. He plays with his heart. He really does.
If you could tell Landon anything right now, what would it be?
I am so proud of you. I remember in college, the spot you were in, and the spot that I helped you get out of, and just to see where it's at now, it's literally God's will and God's glory. I can't thank him enough for being in your life, even though maybe you don't see it now. But putting me in that position to help encourage you down this path and just seeing you here and being out here to support you means the world to me.
Kings.
Kings? Good game.
Yeah, good game, man.
There's always that voice in your head when you think the worst is going to happen, and just doing your best to avoid that in some cases, but also be willing to accept that result. I really can't complain at all, and I'm really happy and thankful to be able to get second. Everyone played really well, and being able to get second in this spot is huge. So I'm just really, really grateful for it.
You can't be happier than to see your kid thriving and living their best life. And that's what he's been doing since he left, really.